Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's episode, this being episode 1, we will watch the journey that my friend and I took to go deliver my car to Galveston, Texas, around 300 miles away from where I live. After that video, I will then do an actual deep dive as it relates to what paperwork you actually need to use in order to actually ship the car out. And then to conclude it all, how much does this actually cost? You know, is it $300? Is it $3,000? Or is it $30,000? You know, I will answer those questions, and you actually might be surprised at how much it truly costs.
Ready?
Yeah. Alright, so my plan is to see how many miles we drive and what the average miles per gallon is. So I'm resetting this since this is day 1, which is dropping off the vehicle, and I'm resetting this. So yeah, let's begin. Yep, made it to Buc-ee's. It's 5:10 in the morning. Still got another, I don't know, 100 and something miles to go. Crazy is that this place is the least amount of people I've ever seen, but then again, it's at 5 in the morning, so that part makes a lot of sense. Of course, you got to get one of these. So Spencer, what do you think about this whole trip?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun. Damn.
Which Buc-ee's has pumps for days. What's cool is that the things that you see randomly in Texas when you're going to a Buc-ee's to fill up, like this, I think it's an MG midget in front of us, who ended up being there when we went to go get a little bit of gas. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool cars. Pretty cool cars. So the next thing that happens basically is that we have to get escorted onto the property. It's $55 a person an hour, so me and Spencer here have to pay, you know, 110 bucks for the hour to go bring this car from here to in there. So we were told to wait out here in this dirt gravel road until they come here to come get us, so that we can go drop the car off. And from there, they're gonna inspect the car, make sure it's, you know, good to go, and then we're gonna have to Uber to the next spot. But as you can see, after, you know, 280 miles or so of driving through the morning, the car's fairly clean still, I would say. It's about to sit on a boat for 2 months, but technically it's going to only be on a boat for 28 days. But I won't be able to get the car from today till, you know, June 6th. But yeah. So now we are in the port following our escort.
I don't have a video.
Like I said, it's $55 an hour per person. You have to run your car to near empty, which is also what I did. And now we have to go get the car inspected. So that's the next step, which I'm guessing is over here somewhere. She's telling me to pull in right there. So now we go through the fun inspection. So now they essentially inspect the car, sort of. They just verified if the VIN was correct or not. And now I go park it with all the other cars that are gonna get shipped out. And it's that easy. Next, we have to go back to the courthouse. And then once we go back to the courthouse, go back to US Customs, hand them the pieces of paper showing that we've dropped the car off, and then wait a little bit, and then we're done. I put a GPS tracker in my car, so I'll be able to watch the car's movement throughout its journey to the UK. So stay tuned. Huh. And the car will be parked right here. Well, I'll be right on an Uber. Over there is the flagship that's soon to sail in about 30 minutes. Built during the Civil War time.
And it's $300 a person to ride.
And yes, and it's like 18 bucks to go view it, but yeah, pretty cool.
Which is like the Carnival Jubilee. It's an Excel class ship. She comes here.
Is that a warship?
Yes. So the Battleship of Texas is back there at Gulf
You can
Copper.
tour it, right?
Not yet. They haven't moved it. So they've been doing repairs on her, and then they're going to move her down here to Pier 17, I believe.
Okay, so let's cut to it. In this envelope, this is everything that I need to use in order to send my car off to Europe. It surprisingly is not as difficult as a lot of people may think. It is fairly straightforward, but let's begin. So, to start, if you still finance your car, you will need to talk to your bank and ask them, hey, am I allowed or can I ship my car out? From what I've been told, some banks will say no, other banks will say sure. What they have to provide you then is a letter allowing you to ship your car. It has to be notarized, and it has to be the wet ink version. So they will have to mail it to you. They can't just PDF it, but it has to be notarized, and it has to say that they will allow you to ship the car out. For example, mine says that they hereby grant you authority as the registered owner to relocate this vehicle outside of the continental United States to the United Kingdom starting April 23rd, 2025. It has to have at the top your VIN, what vehicle it is, your account information, and then at the bottom it has to be notarized, and it has to be signed by that said representative. So you need this piece of paper. So the second thing that you need is a certified copy of the title of your vehicle from your bank. What makes it a certified copy is that, like with the sheet of paper, the letter that has a notary, you need the notary for this. So I also got notarized. It also says I certify this to be true and exact copy of my title with all the signatures and stuff. Also needs to be in color. So a lot of places, a lot of banks will have black and white copies, but you need a colorized copy. So just remember that if they do send you a black and white one, ask if they can send you a colored copy. And so you get those two things, both wet ink and notarized, and that's what you need from your bank. Okay, so in order to get those documents from your bank, typically your bank will ask you what insurance is the car going to be under while it's overseas. As you know, and many people know, your American car insurance most likely will not work while you're over in Europe or Asia or Africa, etc. And so there is a way to get car insurance. It's called tourism car insurance, and it's temporarily. There's a few companies, but the one that I use is called ATEL. It's super easy, and I chose them because I can do it all online. And they just send it to me online. I just provide them with the information that they need. And then you're able to then drive in all the countries that it allows you to, essentially, which is basically all of Western Europe plus a few other countries, as that's the insurance that I got. With them, you can do either 30 days or 90 days. And so for me, I did 90 days just to cover while it's being transit from America over there, in which the boat has its own insurance. But regardless, America to there, while I'm there, and then coming back. And so that's the insurance that I used. And the link for that insurance company will be below. But regardless, you have to have that insurance in order to then drive the car legally overseas. You don't have to change the plate. You don't have to do anything like that. As long as you have the car insured, then you're good to go. The next is the information that you need as it relates to not having to pay customs or import duties, things like that. So this is where things can get complicated. It depends on what country you're sending the car to. Because I'm sending the car to the UK, there is a form called C110, in which you just, give it your vehicle registration, your VIN, your make and model, and you ask for duties and tax relief. And what that means is that when the car gets over there, what typically happens is that if you stay for longer than 6 months, you'd be considered there permanently, and you would then have to pay the VAT, import duty, taxes, and things like that. That in Europe, and generally speaking, is around 20%. So if you have a, say, $200,000 car, you will then have to pay $40,000 to any of the governments in order to have your car there. Okay, guys, so the last thing that you need in order for everything to go flawlessly is your doc receipt. So whatever broker that you use, in which I use this company called IVSS, I also put the link at the bottom. They will do all of the brokering for you. And so they will schedule your vehicle for what ship it's going to go on, for roll on, roll off, and everything. And they will send you your insurance as it relates to while it's on the boat. So your boating insurance on whatever you want to put your car value at. And then they'll give you a docking receipt. And so as you can see, here's the docking receipt. What you do is you, of course, print out the document receipt, and honestly print out everything that you have and just keep it all in a folder. But with the docking receipt, when you get to the seaport, you call an escort. And what the escort does is they pick you up from where you're at, and you follow them into the seaport, where to go park, where people can go inspect your car, look at your docking receipt and things like that, and make sure that everything's correct before signing it, which is down here. And so you pull in there, a lady goes and verifies that your VIN matches the docking receipt, and then you go and turn it in, and you get a stamp saying that they now officially have your car at the seaport. And then you follow the lady to go park the car with all the other cars that are being shipped out all over the world. With this piece of paper, you then go to U.S. Customs, which for me was about 2 miles away from where I dropped the car off. So you Uber there. When you eventually get there, in which you'll see, in which you guys saw in the video that clearly we didn't go to the correct place to begin with, but regardless, when you get there, you then give them the docking receipt showing them that you've dropped off your car. You give them the title, the certified copy of your title, and you give them the letter allowing you to ship off the car. What they then do is they input your VIN into their computer to make sure your car's not stolen. And then they also sign off and they put a stamp. So as you can see here, and then they put a stamp on your certified copy of your title in order to actually get the car sent out. From there, you take photos, scan it, and send it off to your broker, and then they confirm everything as it relates to when it gets to your destination. I will say, if you don't have a bank to deal with, you still need to show proof of insurance to your broker and whatnot. But you only need to have your actual original title in hand to then give to U.S. Customs in order for them to stamp it and allow you to ship the car out. And with those 4 pieces of information, so your docking receipt, your letter, your certified copy of your title, both notarized and signed and wet inked, mailed to you, and then C1110 form, that is all you need to ship the car out. All right, so now you want to know the big question: how much does all this cost? And depending on how you look at it, either it costs too much money to want to do something like this, or it's surprisingly affordable. So for me, I lean more towards that this is surprisingly affordable. Reason being is that 2 years ago, when I went on a smaller version of what it is that I'm doing with this European trip, I rented both a car, and then to drive on the Nürburgring, I rented a race car. Now, to break down the cost, it was around $1,200, I believe, $1,300 or so to rent a car to then drive from Germany, France, Switzerland, and Italy for 10 days. For 18 days, and in today's times, it looks like it's going to be around $2,000 and some change just to do that, which is to rent a car, be able to drive the car out of said country that you were in, and, you know, go from place to place. And what I rented last time was a 2020, I guess it'd be a 2022 Golf TDI diesel, in which had a top speed of not very fast, wasn't all that cool, I suppose, but got pretty good gas mileage at the end of the day. But regardless of that, that's what I used to drive 1,500 miles, and then the 4 countries that I went to. I then rented an M4 GT4 of sorts. Really, it's not a GT4 M4, but they gut it, build the trans, build the motor, all that stuff, full roll cage. I'll probably insert a clip here. order to actually go around that track. So you're not allowed to actually drive your rental car around the Nürburgring. You can, and no one's going to tell you not to, but then you'll be banned by that insurance company because, of course, there's photos will be sent out because the Nürburgring is considered a toll road. So we'll take photos and it will let anyone and everyone know, especially the actual owners of that vehicle, hey, you know, I took your car around the Nürburgring. And so, yeah, you'd be banned and would not be able to rent a car from them again. I don't want to do that. And I didn't want to do that. And so I went with the option of renting an actual race car to go around the track. Now, this price ranges. It can be as low as $300 or so a lap, up to multiple thousands of dollars. This M4 GT4 was, I want to say, around $800 a lap. And, you know, doing 3 laps, you're looking at a minimum of $2,400. Now, if you want to add, you know, you want your video recorded and things like that, the price then goes up. And if you add the two up, you know, $2,400 and $1,200, you're looking at $3,600. And so for $3,600 for 10 days, that's how much it cost me to rent those 2 vehicles. Now, if I were to do that again, do the same 3 laps, plus then rent a different vehicle for 18 days, we're looking at, you know, $4,400 and change. And so for $4,400, you can, you know, go to all the same countries that I'm going to, go on all the same roads, have a track day in which, sure, you're stuck with 3 laps, but it's at least a pretty cool car that you're going to be driving around too. And that's, like I said, for the M4. Now, you know, if you go Porsche, things like that, prices then go up even more. Right, so for $4,400, I would rent a car in the UK, drive the 12 countries for 18 days, plus then rent a second car to then do 3 to 4 laps around the Nürburgring. And so, you know, for that much. Now, it costs $5,500 in total to send my car there to the UK and back. And it gets broken up in half. So for me to send the car there is $2,500 and some change. And then to send the car back is around $3,000. To go further, to break it even down even more, when you drop the car off, you go through escort fees. That's $100. Then it's $1,545 to actually ship the car over there. And then it's around $500 USD to insure your car, in which, depending on the value that you want to put your car at, can be more, can be less. So for me, like I said, $500. And then around $500 as it relates to the going through their customs when the car lands. Nonetheless, you're looking at $2,500 there, and then $3,000 coming back with a total of $5,500. Yes, it is more expensive to send your car there than it would be to rent a car, then rent a race car. However, it's not so much more expensive that it drove me away from wanting to do something like this. It just made sense. A, you get to use your own car. I mean, that in and of itself is pretty great. B, you get to do as many laps as you want on the Nürburgring. So instead of it being, you know, $800 a lap renting a vehicle, it's $30 a lap paying the toll every single time you go through. So you can go as long as you want or as short as you want. And then on top of that, you still have the ability to go do other things. So Spa, for example, I want to go and race around Spa. I would not be able to do that in a rental car. And it's about $4,000 to do it through the same, this place called RSR Spa. It's a company that also rents out vehicles for Spa during their track days, but is in the thousands. And since I would want to most likely probably rent a Porsche, it was looking at like $4,000 for the day or somewhere around that. And so that's, quite expensive. And so in a sense, using my own vehicle, paying the, normal fees of anyone else using their own vehicle, and then the experience of having your own vehicle there versus, renting a vehicle, I think is worth it. And that's primarily the reason why I'm doing it. And with that, I hope that helps somebody in the future. Stick around. There's going to be a ton more videos of just even crazier and wackier things that, go on while the car is over in Europe. Yeah. Thanks.